Blooper Reel, Episode 2. Okay, it's been an exciting month. Something special happened. Blooper is fun now. It's become fun. And today I'll show you why that is. We'll go over suggestions that you gave us after the last video because many were very good and are going into the pedal. We'll talk about what's new with Blooper since the last video. And we'll visit Steve Bragg, the owner of Empress, for some guest blooping. But not yet. First, let's go back to where we did the work this month.
Ready? Yes. Here are the roles for a blooper. Number 1, Knobs, product designer. He's telling us what the product should be. Number 2, me, project manager. I make sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and yeah. 3, Mark Seal, the DSP designer wizard guy. He's writing the DSP stuff and the coding. 4, Parker. He's helping with hardware design and also is going to be doing some of the DSP work as well to support Mark, the DSP wizard. 5, Zach, electronics technician and tester number 1 tester and expert, and also help Knobs with the filming.
That's right.
That's the team. That's the blooper team.
Have to be the smoothest thing of all time. Like, we can embrace some quirk with it.
Right.
Sure, my volume properly. Yeah. Like a little bit. Alright, that smells good.
Try again.
If we trim it to a super small thing, we could record a whole bunch of layers of overdubs, and then when we turn the trimmer off, we'll have this weird column of overdubs.
That's what I thought it was supposed to do. There in the sense that if you start recording on that layer, that trimmed measure isn't gonna be enforced. It's not even gonna exist.
We've had a fun day today. We've had a fun day. It's been fun. It's been a good day. We're in the mountains.
All right, so let's get into what's new with Blooper. Naturally, your eyes will go up here to the handsome tape, but we're gonna save that because that's a big thing. There have been lots and lots of small adjustments to Blooper. A lot of the little things that made it difficult to play with have been touched up. Popping on loop fades, the poor audio quality, the dry signal being affected by a lot of the modifiers and stability. Almost all that stuff has been tightened up, and the performance and behavior of Blooper is much closer to what you'd expect from a finished thing. It's looking like we'll be adding buttons, additional buttons to the bottom of Blooper to turn the modifiers on and off. We've added a new modifier called Trimmer, which allows you to shorten your loop. If you go counterclockwise, the end will go towards the beginning. If you go clockwise, the beginning will go towards the end. It has some popping and clicking right now, but we'll sort that out. Alright, so what I've started messing with here is the fade control. And frankly, this is the last feature that I ever thought we would include in Blooper. It's something I've had in other bloopers in the past that I thought was boring. But naturally, I was wrong. So what fade does, simply, is it turns your loop into a looping delay. So it allows you to have old layers fade out. So if you have this in the full clockwise position, it will work like any other looper. You keep every single layer. But the more counterclockwise you go, the faster old layers will clear out. The advantage of this with Blooper is that you keep the old layers in here with the undo and redo. So if you're in record, that's when it will continuously it will add new layers and replace the old ones. As soon as you close the buffer or go into the play position, nothing will happen. Your layers won't fade out even if you're here. So it only applies when you're recording. So there go my layers. Now if I put that into play, it locks that in place. But that last thing we had, it still exists because of the undo and redo layers, which is really fun to switch between. And again, we're getting some clicking and some popping, but that will be cleaned up. Really cool. The other advantage of having this kind of looping delay behavior, well, there's a lot, actually. I am really impressed by how fun it is. Let's start over. So, one thing you can do is, here, let's get Trimmer out of there. It's not your time. Okay, so what you can do is if you want to just use Blooper like a delay, you can think of the loop length as tap tempo. Cool. And fade becomes your feedback. Where that's nice is you can add the modifiers. Where that becomes interesting is you can add the modifiers to your repeats. So the same way an analog delay would get older and darker and warmer and more saturated over time, Blooper allows you to apply any of the modifiers to your repeats like that. So, I mean, right now we don't have a lot of modifiers that would make sense. But as we start building more modifiers, that can be a lot of fun, and you can do any number of them together. This could be kind of fun. And again, whenever you stop recording, that will lock in and become a loop. So you can kind of alternate back and forth between having it be a loop or having it be a delay. And if you turn this knob up, now it'll just stack up like any other looper. Okay, I actually just thought of something else that could be cool that I've never tried. If you actually lock the loop and then you let it fade and record another loop, you should have both. So let's see if that works. Okay, so my camera battery died, but I specifically didn't test this yet, so we can do it live. So here's our new loop. Let's hear if this thing works. It does. So here's one loop. And here's a different loop. They sound really similar because all my music sounds the same. I'll record a more distinct loop on this layer and we'll really mash these two up, but this is two completely different loops playing at the same time now. Now again, if I just record, the stuff in there is going to fade away. And I can speed that up by twisting that knob back. Okay, now let's record something very distinct from that other one. Alright, so that's one extreme. It's interesting. So here, we've got one loop. Here we have another. I just didn't think that it would work like this, and it's very pleasant that it does. I just drank water and spilled it on my guitar. There's water on it. Okay, so let's talk about what you suggested from the last video. I went through YouTube and any comments I could find and made a list of everything that could work, and we discussed all of them in Utah, and about 50% of them are going into Blooper. One thing we'll be including for sure is a dry kill function. So one of the dip switches will activate dry kill. Another thing we'll be including is a one-shot function. So that allows Blooper to function more like a sampler. This button records and this button fires. So instead of continuously looping, it will only play when you hit that. Momentary recording is something that we'll be including. So holding the record switch will activate momentary recording. Another request was that the CV input be able to receive clocks, so you could sync through the CV input. That's something we'll be able to do, and it will also be dip switch activated. One request that should just actually be a function of fade is one loop. So your recording would only loop once and then it would be gone. You should be able to do that with the fade knob.
Let's see. What was that flew off? Dummy on. There we go. Now you can see it's really giving it a good push. All right, so we just gotta wait for 4 days.
Let's get up to 500.
Nice. Woo!
All right, let's do something else.
We need to get that sweet sound back. Ooh, actually, that's in honor of Prodigy. Should we make it pretty?